Welcome to the Frontier Post TV. Have you ever pondered the complexity of the challenges faced by the Pashtun people over the past 50 years? The craggy landscapes of Afghanistan and Pakistan's tribal areas, the historical home of the Pashtuns, bear silent witness to a tale of relentless struggle, displacement, and the quest for autonomy. The saga began in 1979 with the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. This conflict drew the Pashtuns into a fierce resistance, fighting not just for territory, but for the preservation of their way of life. The war ravaged the countryside, decimating generations of Pashtuns. Yet the end of the war in 1989 did not usher in peace. Instead, it birthed a power vacuum that plunged the nation into a brutal civil war, further complicating the Pashtun predicament. The mid-90s saw the rise of the Taliban, initially perceived by some as a beacon of stability. However, their harsh rule served to distort Pashtun society, replacing traditional tribal codes with an extreme interpretation of Sharia law. The repercussions were devastating, with human rights and personal freedoms severely curtailed. The tremors of 9/11 then rippled through the Pashtun regions and culture. The U.S. invasion of Afghanistan in 2001, aimed at dismantling the Taliban and rooting out Al-Qaeda, resulted in severe repercussions for the Pashtuns. The conflict spilled into Pakistan's tribal areas, transforming these regions into the front line of a new war on terror. Add to all this that Afghanistan produces the most heroin in the world, worth $8 billion US. And its beneficiaries starts from farmers, to mafias around the world, and even to the governments. Misguided policies and drone strikes amplified the turmoil, disrupting the local way of life and displacing millions of Pashtuns. The heavy reliance on military solutions by the American and Pakistani strategy largely overlooked the intricate tribal dynamics and the need for inclusive governance. This allowed the Taliban to regroup, reclaim influence, and return to power in 2021 in Afghanistan, leading to a rollback in rights and freedoms, notably impacting education for girls. Since their takeover in Afghanistan, more than 400 terrorist attacks have taken place in Pakistan, out of which mostly happened in the Pashtun-dominant areas. Why is it that the blood of Pashtun always gets spilled in these national and international war games? One wonders why. This historical trajectory highlights not only geopolitical failures, but also a profound disregard for the cultural and social structures of Pashtun society. The repeated external interventions have thwarted the Pashtuns' control over their political and social futures. The cyclical conflicts have eroded traditional authority and governance structures, leaving a void often filled by extremist elements. The need of the hour is a nuanced understanding of the Pashtun dilemma, whose population is now more than 100 million. It is imperative that international actors and Afghan leaders prioritize inclusive governance, respect the rights and traditions of all ethnic groups, including the Pashtuns, and ensure that aid reaches with integrity, not through humiliation. The path forward for the Pashtuns is littered with challenges. However, the key to resolving their predicaments lies in respect for their rich cultural heritage and traditions, and a genuine commitment to peace and development. For the last 40 years, the Frontier Post being the only Pashtun-owned English news media outlet which has highlighted the sufferings of the Pashtuns and the constructive ideas to way forward. We are proud of our positive role in promoting education for both boys and girls, eradicating the menace of heroin and opposing extremism in every form. We have seen a fair share of our sufferings through these years, and even at present, along with our journalists' colleagues. It would be unfair not to mention the name of the founder of the Frontier Post, late Mr. Rahmat Shah Afridi, whose mission of journalism continues by his children. Thank you for watching the Frontier Post TV.